3, 2, 1, action. Today is a listening day. We have vocabulary on Friday. Today we have to practice the listening. Okay? Super important practice for today. Attention, open ears, and practice. Okay? So this was Friday's activity. This was Friday's vocabulary. And in this moment, we are going to listen. Okay? This is slide 263. So let's go to 263. All right. Let's listen to the audio, shall we? Attention.
The Royal Standard of England is one of the oldest pubs in the UK. Many pubs have a long history, and the very first pub opened over 1,000 years ago in St Albans, north of London. The word pub is short for a public house. In other words, a house open to everybody to meet, drink and chat. Pubs need a license to sell alcoholic drinks. If they serve alcohol to young people under 18, they may lose it and then have to close. This pub, like many others, is full of ornaments and curious objects, some of them a little bit scary. The idea is to create a relaxed place with lots of atmosphere and a special character. Pubs sell wine, soft drinks and, naturally, different types of beer. Red beer is called bitter or ale. Cold, blonde beer is called lager, and the thick, black beer is called stout, but is usually called by its brand name, Guinness. The beer is served in half pints or pints. A pint is a little more than half a litre. The pub is an ideal place to relax and chat. Some people prefer to stand at the bar, but drinks cost exactly the same whether you stand or sit at a table and read. Most pubs have a dining area where you can eat traditional British dishes such as fish and chips or sausages and mash, but you can also eat continental food such as lasagna. Prices are reasonable, usually between £5 and £10 for a main course, so it's a good alternative to an expensive restaurant since there's no service charge either. Nearly all pubs now serve food of some kind. This is fish and chips, the famous British dish made of fresh fish and homemade potatoes. It's a little bit heavy for some people, though. Smoking was prohibited in pubs in July 2007. Now, people have to go outside if they want to smoke.
Pubs, am I right? Are pubs interesting?
Yes, teacher.
Yeah, right? They're pretty interesting. Well, in this moment, let's practice our sound words so we can study with hearing and pronunciation. Everybody, E.
E.
A.
A.
Ear.
Ear.
R.
Air.
E.
E.
A. Ea.
Air.
U. U.
U.
Ur.
Ur.
A.
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 I.
I.
R.
Or.
Au.
Ow.
O.
Oh.
Oi.
Oi.
Or.
Or.
O.
Oh.
Ye.
Je.
Ra.
Ra.
Wa.
Wa.
Ba.
Ba.
V.
Bu. D.
Da,
Da.
Da.
ja,
J.
J.
S.
Z.
Sh.
z,
Sh.
ga,
Ga.
Ga.
mm,
Mm.
Mm.
mm,
Mm.
Mm.
ang,
Ang.
ra,
Ra.
ul.
L.
All. Ha.
And the schwa sound,
A.
ah. Perfect. So this is going to be a reference for pronunciation. In this moment, let's go to the questions. Okay? Final repetition. Everybody take and circle the correct option.
Yes.
Okay? Take a note. 1, 2.
The Royal Standard of England is one of the oldest pubs in the UK. Many pubs have a long history, and the very first pub opened over 1,000 years ago in St Albans, north of London. The word pub is short for a public house. In other words, a house open to everybody to meet, drink and chat. Pubs need a license to sell alcoholic drinks. If they serve alcohol to young people under 18, they may lose it and then have to close. This pub, like many others, is full of ornaments and curious objects, some of them a little bit scary. The idea is to create a relaxed place with lots of atmosphere and a special character. Pubs sell wine, soft drinks and, naturally, different types of beer. Red beer is called bitter or ale. Cold, blonde beer is called lager. And the thick, black beer is called stout, but is usually called by its brand name, Guinness. The beer is served in half pints or pints. A pint is a little more than half a litre. The pub is an ideal place to relax and chat. Some people prefer to stand at the bar, but drinks cost exactly the same whether you stand or sit at a table and read. Most pubs have a dining area where you can eat traditional British dishes such as fish and chips or sausages and mash, but you can also eat continental food such as lasagna. Prices are reasonable, usually between £5 and £10 for a main course. So it's a good alternative to an expensive restaurant, since there's no service charge either. Nearly all pubs now serve food of some kind. This is fish and chips, the famous British dish made of fresh fish and homemade potatoes. It's a little bit heavy for some people, though. Smoking was prohibited in pubs in July 2007. Now, people have to go outside if they want to smoke.
Okay. Did you catch the answers?
Okay, teacher.
Yes? Did you catch them?
Yes.
Oh, good. What about Juan? Did you catch the answers?
I understand.
Mm-hmm.
So.
You understand so. How many did you understand?
How do you say? La gran mayoría.
No, this is super difficult. Simple words. Simple
Um,
words.
Kind of.
Can be. Kinda all. No, just answer
So all.
how many. How many?
Percent.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Percent.
No. That's not
Percent?
necessary. How
No.
many?
Mm,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. How many?
uh, 70%?
No, no percentage. How many?
I don't idea, teacher.
How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Um,
How many?
5? No,
5.
7 ideas? Mm,
7 ideas? No, no, no. How many did you answer?
7 of that of 10?
Oh, 7.
Yes.
So you answer 7, but you are not sure.
What?
You answer the 7, all the exercise, but you are not sure.
Oh, uh, maybe response C 5?
Okay, that's much better. Excellent. Okay, perfect. Let's see. No percentage, 70%.
Okay. Sorry,
What is
sorry.
that? That's not necessary, bro.
Okay, teacher. Okay.
But perfect, perfect, excellent. What about grace? Did you study your audio, Grace, in your vocabulary?
So.
So. Did you answer any in this moment?
No.
So you have to start answering. Okay?
Okay. Okay.
Let's practice question number 1. Laurita, question number 1. It says, give me, read number 1, read the options, and finally, what is the answer?
Okay. The royal standard of England is A. Beer factory in North London. B. A very old pub. C.
Mhm.
The first pub that opens in England. The answer is letter A. Beer factory in North London.
All right. Your answer is incorrect.
No, teacher.
It is incorrect. The royal
Incorrect.
standard. Mhm. We need to check what happened on the audio. Listen, attention.
Yes.
The Royal Standard of England is one of the oldest pubs in the UK.
What did he say?
Okay. Yes. The royal standard of England
Mhm.
is the first pub that opened in England.
But I don't want a different option. I want the literal audio.
The
So you can
literal.
understand. You need to practice your
Okay.
listening. Let's play it again, shall we?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
The royal.
Do this.
The Royal Standard of England is one of the oldest pubs in the UK.
Okay. Is one of the oldest pubs.
Where?
What is Oka?
What is Oka?
Ajá, UK.
No, okay. This doesn't exist.
Because I hear in the UK or
Oh,
UK.
aha, you know exactly.
Okay.
What is the acronym for the United Kingdom?
You okay. It's a cold. No, it's short call or
It's
como.
short, exactly. It's
Okay.
short for United Kingdom.
Okay.
So what is the correct acronym? Can you
All right.
repeat what is the
Letter
acronym?
letter
No, no, no.
B.
My question. What is the acronym?
UK. U
Pronunciation in English?
UK. UK.
Confirmation in the audio.
Okay.
The Royal Standard of England is one of the oldest pubs in the UK.
Okay. Is the oldest pub in the UK?
Fantastic. Very good.
The
That is the
answer is
correct.
letter B, a very old pub.
You are correct.
Okay.
It's because it's one of the oldest pubs in the UK.
Okay. Letter B.
Letter B. That is correct. Do you remember oldest? No?
Yes, oldest.
Oldest, one of the most old.
Is more old.
Exactly. That's correct.
Yes.
Very good, Laurita. The answer for number 1 is option B.
B.
That's correct. Let me give you the outline. There we go. Number 2, Juan. Answer.
The word pub is B, means public house.
First read the three options and then give me the answer.
Okay. The word pub, option A, comes from London.
Can you repeat the first option?
Option?
What is the first letter of the alphabet?
A.
Exactly. Repeat.
Okay. The word pub, option A, comes from London. Option V, means public house. Option C means old house.
Excellent. What is the answer?
My response is B, means public house.
Eliminate response. Question.
Okay.
What is the answer?
My answer?
Again, what is the answer? The answer, not your answer.
Oh,
The.
the answer is means public house.
Brother, your answer is correct. Wow, very good. Now, let me just give you the pronunciation for this word. Pronunciation.
Answer. Answer.
Okay. You see, there is no W. There is no wa.
Okay.
So, pronunciation.
Answer.
There is no wa.
Answer.
Answer, exactly.
Answer. Okay.
Answer.
You hear? Pronunciation.
Answer.
Answer. So what's the answer?
The answer is means public house.
Letter
What?
Letter. Letter. Number 1, 2, 3. Letter A, B, C. Letter.
Letter B.
Letter B. That's correct. Excellent. You get confused.
Yes.
Like, what? It's only the letter. Very good. Juan, you pass the listening. Let's go to Grace. Number 3, Grace. Please read the options and after that, give me the answer.
3 pups needs a license.
Again, what is the pronunciation for the bars?
Pup,
Pub, okay, plural.
pups,
Perfect.
pups need a license.
Okay, the last one. Let's go to the pronunciation. Let's go.
License.
Perfect.
License.
Complete.
Pups need a license.
Mhm.
Option A, to sell alcohol. Option B, to show football on TV. Option C, to sell drinks to people under 80.
Do you have the answer?
I don't have the answer, but suppose I don't know, teacher. Option.
Okay, no problem. No problem. If you don't have the option, let's listen to the audio. Right? Let's go.
Many pubs have a long history, and the very first pub opened over 1,000 years ago in St Albans, north of London. The word pub is short for a public house. In other words, a house open to everybody to meet, drink, and chat. Pubs need a license to sell alcoholic drinks.
Option A, to sell alcohol.
You are correct. How do you know that? What did the person say in the video?
What?
What did the person say in the video?
I understand.
You understand positive or negative?
I don't understand.
Excellent. I repeat. What did past the person in the video say?
Say. Okay. The pubs need a license to sell alcohol.
Well, yes, this is paraphrasis, but what is a literal speech?
Can you repeat the video, please?
Yes, of course. Let's pronounce.
They may drinks, drink, and chat. Pubs need a license to sell alcoholic drinks.
Pubs need licenses to sell alcohol drinks.
Nice, kinda. Alcohol is a liquid. What is the description? It's in the vocabulary.
The Royal
Vocabulary number 4.
Either.
Number 4.
Alcoholic.
Exactly. alcoholic. Listen to this.
Alcoholic.
Alcoholic.
Listen to the British guy.
A house open to everybody to meet, drink, and chat. Pubs need a license to sell alcoholic drinks.
Pubs needs license. Pubs needs a license to sell alcoholic drinks.
Perfect. Excellent listening, Grace. Very good. All right. So let me say hello to Hector and Luz. Hallelujah, guys. Hector, you came.
Hello.
Hallelujah. Hello.
Night. Good night.
Good night.
Good
Good
night, everybody.
Good. Hallelujah.
Good
Hallelujah,
night.
you came.
Good night.
All right. So Hector, in this exercise is special, okay? Because yes, we listen the audio, we check the correct option, but it's necessary to tell the portion of information. If you are correct, no problem, you pass. If you are incorrect, you need to explore the audio. Are you ready, Hector?
Okay.
You are next. Option 4. But you need to listen to the audio. Did you listen the audio this Saturday and Sunday?
No.
No, you didn't, right? Okay.
No.
So in this moment, I am going to play the video.
The Royal Standard of England is one of the oldest pubs in the UK. Many pubs have a long history, and the very first pub opened over 1,000 years ago in St Albans, north of London. The word pub is short for a public house. In other words, a house open to everybody to meet, drink, and chat. Pubs need a license to sell alcoholic drinks. If they serve alcohol to young people under 18, they may lose it and then have to close. This pub, like many others, is full of ornaments and curious objects, some of them a little bit scary. The idea is to create a relaxed place with lots of atmosphere and a special character. Pubs sell wine, soft drinks and, naturally, different types of beer. Red beer is called bitter or ale. Cold, blonde beer is called lager, and the thick, black beer is called stout, but is usually called by its brand name, Guinness. The beer is served in half pints or pints.
That was the information for number 4. Hector, please read the options. Number 4.
Bitter is red beer and Guinness is black beer.
But first the question. The question is very important.
Okay. Which sentence is correct?
So which read the options?
Okay. Letter A. Bitter is red beer and Guinness is black beer. Letter B. Blonde beer is called lager or ale. Letter C. Lager is red beer and stout is black beer.
All right. Do you have the answer?
No.
Okay. So let's listen. Attention.
A pint, Guinness. Black beer is called ale, cups of beer. Red beer is called bitter or ale. Cold, blonde beer is called lager, and the thick, black beer is called stout, but is usually called by its brand name, Guinness.
That's it.
Okay.
That's the answer.
is letter B. Blonde beer is called lager or ale.
You are incorrect. That is not the correct one. So in this moment, we are going to start the listening exploration. Repeat the audio literally. Okay? Attention.
Beer is ale, different types of beer. Red beer is called bitter or ale.
Repeat.
Red beer
Mhm.
is I don't know.
Okay. What is the word to give a name? To give a name to somebody.
Call.
Excellent. Very good. Listen again.
Types of beer. Red beer is called bitter or ale.
Is red beer is called is red beer is called no.
Did
I
you
don't
study the
understand.
vocabulary?
Yes, but I don't understand the word.
It's in the vocabulary. If you study the vocabulary, you will understand the audio. How do you call the taste of coffee? The taste, the contrary for sweet. What is the contrary for sweet? Look at number 8.
Is stout.
Look at number 8.
Liquor and bitter.
Definition.
The opposite.
Continue
Okay.
reading. You see?
Bitter is the opposite of sweet in
The opposite
flavor.
of sweet. The pronunciation in British, you need to pronounce the T. Bit. Pronunciation?
Bitter.
Exactly. And the R is optional. Pronunciation?
Bitter.
The R
Bitter.
is optional.
Bitter.
Bitter, excellent.
Bitter.
You see? The person speaking is British. So let's listen again.
And then have to. The idea is to sell wine, soft called bitter or types of beer. Red beer is called bitter or ale.
Action.
Okay, it's red. Red beer is bitter or ale.
Nice. Incomplete. What is the
So
word to give a name to somebody?
it's the red beer, no?
Again, what is the verb to give names?
Called.
Called. You forgot called. Repeat.
The beer.
What color?
The red beer.
Excellent.
The red beer is called.
Is called
Bitter or ale.
excellent. That's correct. The red beer over here. The red beer is called bitter or ale. You see? So this eliminates letter B because letter B says blonde beer is called lager or ale. This is incorrect, you see?
Yes.
So we eliminate letter B. Continue.
Cold, blonde beer is called lager. And
Let me
Long
repeat,
beer
okay? Okay,
is
okay, blonde beer.
long beer is called lager.
Excellent. Blonde beer is called lager.
Lager.
Continue.
the thick, black beer is called stout.
And black beer is called stout.
Perfect. Continue.
But is usually called by its brand name, Guinness.
Again, please.
Beer is called stout, but is usually called by its brand name, Guinness.
I don't understand this.
Not at all.
No.
Give me words. What part you understand? Mhm.
Okay, in the first word of the sentence.
What is the first word? Huh?
Can you repeat, please?
Okay, final repetition. Attention.
Okay.
Is called stout, but is usually called by its brand name, Guinness.
Is the red beer and Guinness is black beer?
That doesn't sound similar. That sounds very different. Very, very different. You need to match phonetics and vocabulary. So
Yes.
there are okay. There are 9 words in the idea. Word number 1, connector for contradiction. What is a connector for contrary ideas? Connector for contrary ideas.
Or?
Contrary. For example, I like English. It's difficult.
But?
That's it. You see? Attention to the audio. Identify but.
Black beer is called stout, but is usually...
Okay, but beer is
But
called
beer.
stout?
Eliminate beer. Did you identify the but?
Uh-huh.
Yes? Okay. Number 1, but. Number 2, verb to be for the beer.
Okay, it's but be is called
Conjugate.
stout?
Verb be for the beer.
But be called
Verb be, I am, you
okay.
are, and the beer.
The beer it.
Verb, no person. I am, you are, he, she, it.
He is.
Is, that's correct. So give me the two words that you found.
Okay.
The two words?
But
Connector for contradiction?
but beer is called?
Eliminate beer, eliminate cold. Connector?
But
And the verb?
what is?
But is, exactly. Listen again.
Is called lager, and the thick black beer is called stout.
This is not the idea, eh? Next.
But is usually called by
Did you catch?
But is called
Excellent. But is called
stout.
mysterious information. Stout now. Listen again. I will play slowly. Okay? Attention.
and the thick black beer is called stout, but is usually called by its brand name.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's difficult.
It's difficult.
Yes. Is to pay attention to the phonetics. That's very, very different. So, I repeat.
Guinness called stout, but is usually called by its brand name.
But is but it's used es que but it's just name.
The phonetic matches. The phonetic is a match. Very good. Let me help you. What is similar to normally? That sounds similar to use. Similar to normally.
Normally I don't have idea.
Yes, you know. Similar to normally, similar to... I don't want to give you the answer. You... Normally? No? All right, guys, you need to help Hector. Guys, give me a synonym for normally. Come on, guys. Synonym for normally. No, nobody? Laurita?
No, teacher is confused.
Usually.
Yes, Grace, very good. Normally is similar to usually. That's the reason Hector listens use. You see? Yes, Hector?
Yeah.
So you
Yes.
hear use, but it's not use, it's usually. Listen again.
Beer is called stout, but is usually called by...
Okay. This part is but the use call.
Oh, and what happened with the first words?
The in the last part.
So what is the last part? Question, what is the last part?
When called about
When? Oh,
when
you have
called about
extra words. Eliminate when, eliminate about. No. Literal. Connector for contradiction?
but
Verb to be?
is
Similar to normally?
but is usually.
Exactly. Pronunciation. Oh, probably the problem is the pronunciation. How do you pronounce this symbol? This one over here.
Shh. Shh.
Right? So how do you
Okay.
pronounce this word? Oh, sorry, it's zzz. The sound is different. This one.
Zzz. Zzz.
You see?
Okay.
Pronunciation?
Usually.
Excellent.
Usually.
Right? Usually. Pronunciation?
Usually.
That's correct. So let's do this again.
The thick black beer is called stout, but is usually called by
Action. Hector? Hector, are you there?
Yeah,
Yes.
I am here.
Connection problems?
Yes.
Okay, repetition of the audio. Let's
Okay.
go.
the thick black beer is called stout, but is usually called by its brand.
Action.
Okay. Mm-mm. But is usually called stout.
Oh, that's the previous idea. You are confusing idea number 1 and idea number 2. You need idea number 2. Okay, listen again.
Black beer is called stout.
Black beer is called stout. Do you agree?
Okay, black. Yes.
This is not the idea. Your idea is the next. Okay. Listen the next idea.
But is usually called by
But is usual called.
Right. Excellent. Eliminate usual. Similar to normally.
Okay.
So, similar to normally.
But is usual called.
Similar to normally.
Usually.
Excellent.
But usually called.
Excellent. Part 2. Continue.
is usually called by its brand name, Guinness.
Usually proud. I only understand Guinness.
Okay, Guinness is the important part. Guinness is the name. Guinness is the name of the brand. Okay.
Brand.
Do you know what is brand? These are brands. Nikon, Google, Coca-Cola, Yahoo, Adidas, Starbucks. All these are not names of companies, names of products and services.
Okay.
Do you understand brand?
Yes.
So, if I Google Guinness brand, I get the beer.
Okay.
What color is the beer?
Black beer.
Black beer. Therefore, read option A.
Bitter is red beer and Guinness is black beer.
Right?
Right.
Just relax, Hector. It's difficult, I know. All sad, like, yes, teacher. No, relax, This is a normal reaction. We need practice listening phonetics. Okay?
Okay.
We need to study listening phonetics and connection with context. Phonetics, context, and vocabulary. The three abilities or the three elements of listening. Got it?
Okay.
Very good. Very, very good. That was difficult. That was very difficult. I accept it. But I promise this is your level. Okay? This is for you, especially for you. Right? Let's make a little pause over here so we can pass attendance with Jessie. Hello, Jessie. Are you there?
Hi, I'm here. Thank you. Good night.
Hi, girl.
So we're going to take attendance, please. Decia?
Yes.
Thank you.
Present.
Hi, Decia. Thank you.
Hi,
Good night. Juan Ángel?
Mr. Angel.
Present, teacher. Sorry, Jesse. Hi, good night.
Don't worry. Thank you, Angel. Héctor?
Present.
Hi, Héctor. Thank you. Good night. Lau?
Present. I'm here. Good night.
Thank you, Lau. Good night. Lucero?
Present.
Thank you, Lucero. Good night. Gerson?
Gerson absent, sorry.
All right.
Sorry.
And Clau?
Clau absent.
All right. So thank you. Good night to everyone.
Thanks to you.
Good night.
See you later.
Thank you. Good
Thank
night.
you. See you.
All right. So let's switch to Spanish for a moment, ¿ok? En este momento están experimentando el proceso de entender palabra por palabra qué es lo que dice un nativo, right? Como pueden ver, no es nada sencillo. Hay mucho vocabulario que viene y a veces el problema no es el vocabulario. El problema a veces es que la fonética nada más no hace match, right? Una de dos. O no conocemos las palabras que están pronunciando, o nos confunde la pronunciación porque lo ponen todo junto y hablan muy rápido. ¿Sí o no que están experimentando? Cualquiera de estas dos seguro lo están experimentando ahorita. Right? So, para poder sobrellevar un listening correcto, en el examen identificaron, y qué bueno que tenemos a la mayoría, porque quería hablar justo del listening. El examen la parte del listening va a contar el 50% de la evaluación, a pesar de lo cortito que es. La razón por la cual le damos tanta importancia al listening es porque la comprensión es lo más importante para continuar los siguientes periodos. Si tú entiendes de lo que te estoy hablando, porque como ves te lo explico todo en inglés, vas a ser capaz entonces de recopilar más información y de entender más cosas. ¿Okay? Entonces, yo personalmente, como instructor, mi responsabilidad es explicarte todo usando palabras que ya tengas tú. Yo nunca te voy a explicar algo usando palabras complicadas. Al contrario, si necesito de enseñarte una palabra para que me entiendas, te la enseño en ese momento. Pero siempre trato de enseñarte con palabras que tú ya tengas. Por eso es el examen de colocación. Te pongo en este nivel porque sé que ya conoces ciertas palabras. Right? Pero, obviamente, la cantidad de palabras que tenemos es chiquita. Tenemos que hacerla, hay que expandirla un poquito más, y para eso es el vocabulario que tenemos acá. El vocabulario que tienes enfrente, todo es nuevo para ti. A partir de esta clase, voy a empezar a usar este vocabulario dentro de mis explicaciones, porque ya lo viste. Y así es como empiezas a expandir tu conocimiento de vocabulario, entender más palabras y ser capaz de reproducirlas por tu cuenta. ¿Ok? Ahora, teacher, eso no me resuelve el por qué no entiendo el listening. Bueno, eso es porque esto es solamente una de las 3 habilidades que necesitamos para entender a un nativo. Mira cómo aquí lo tengo con número 2. El contexto y el vocabulario. ¿Qué quiere decir? Contexto. Estamos hablando de pubs, estamos hablando de bares, estamos hablando del bar británico llamado pub y del tipo de cervezas y de cosas que sirven en estos lugares. A eso se le llama contexto. ¿Qué es lo que está sucediendo en el audio? Y la segunda parte es el vocabulario nuevo. ¿Cuántas palabras eres capaz de entender? Cuando yo te enseño el vocabulario, siempre te voy a hacer preguntas que tengan que ver con el tema. Nunca te voy a hacer preguntas de otros temas. Right? Si se fijan, cuando vimos vocabulario, siempre estábamos hablando de cerveza, de drinks, de party, de ir afuera. ¿Me explico? Entonces, el contexto y el vocabulario me toca a mí. ¿Ok? Número 2, la fonética. Esa es la parte que te toca a ti. A ti te toca entender la fonética del nativo y pronunciar la fonética correctamente, es decir, esta, para que cuando escuches el audio digas, identifiqué que dijo usually. Oh, dijo Guinness. Caray, escuché stout. Right? Eso recae en tu pronunciación. Si tú pronuncias correctamente, vas a entender correctamente. A eso se le llama uso de fonética correcta.
Okay.
Es la habilidad número 1. La que te toca a ti es la fonética, la que me toca a mí es darte vocabulario y contexto. Y después viene una responsabilidad que compartimos entre tú y yo, la gramática. Si la estructura está hablando con ing, tiene que ver el contexto, tiene que ver con el vocabulario y tiene que ver con lo que está sucediendo en el video. Te pueden aventar verbos en presente, en pasado, etc. Voy a tratar de que cada vez que veamos una lección de gramática, yo te ponga un audio con la gramática que vimos en esa lección. Para que también no sea tan complicado. Ahorita no tenemos toda la gramática, todavía no tenemos toda la gramática, entonces yo no te puedo aventar cualquier video. Sin embargo, lo selecciono de tal forma que ejercite esa gramática que acabamos de ver. En este caso, la gramática que acabamos de ver es esta. There, here, that, this, those, and this. El verbo be y las preguntas where and which. Ahí está. Entonces, no te desesperes si sientes en algún punto que no entendiste. Es porque alguno de estos tres está fallando. Si no es vocabulario, tal vez es la fonética. La fonética no estamos entendiendo qué dijo. La fonética también determina dónde termina una palabra y dónde empieza la otra. Hay veces que escuchamos puro bla, 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 no entendemos en dónde termina la palabra. Eso también se trata de práctica, right? Pero es una práctica muy normal que tenemos que desarrollar, right? So, básicamente, eso es lo que sucedió ahorita con Héctor por primera vez y que sigue pasando con nosotros, los que ya estamos de meses anteriores, right? Tengan en mente que ya avanzamos un ratito, pero todavía nuestro vocabulario está así. Hay que hacerla y hay que expandirlo, que es el objetivo del examen final, right?
Sí.
Opiniones, ¿qué les parece?
Pues a mí sí, el contexto creo que es lo principal. Ya con que escuches una palabra ahí, ya lo demás como que
Fluye,
fluye.
solito, exacto.
Y a mí lo que me ha ayudado en listening es escuchar las películas o series en inglés.
Súper sí.
Ujú.
Estoy totalmente de acuerdo contigo. Todos deberíamos ver películas y series en inglés, con subtítulos en inglés. That's correct. Porque justo tenemos que expandir nuestro vocabulario e identificar cuando vean una lección o una oración con una que tenga que ver con una lección que vieron conmigo, ahí van a decir, ah, mira, sí es cierto, usaron esto por esto y esto y esto y esto. ¿Me explico? Todo conecta. Eso es contexto y vocabulario, como dice Chris. Right? Ahora, ¿qué pasa con Juan, con Lau, con Luz?
Pues es que, sí, realmente sigo la idea de que no, como usted dice, no hay que presionarlo, o sea, no, pues básicamente yo estoy peor. Hay muchas cosas que todavía se me olvidan y son cosas que ya vimos desde hace un montón. Entonces, pero ya entiendo un poco más el contexto de cómo se arman las palabras, todo eso.
Correcto.
Ya es menos el error de gramática. Ahora es el hecho de memorizar y aprender a ver a dónde separar las palabras, porque el audio, la gran mayoría lo entendí, saqué las respuestas de la gran mayoría de preguntas, pero aún me cuesta entender muy bien el contexto, porque
Correcto.
no sé, creo que hay error de cada persona, porque de acuerdo a lo que ellos, cómo se sienten. Mi hermano, por ejemplo, hace poco me tocó ver un video de un chico que estaba enseñando que su hámster se metió a un tubo de papel y ya no podía salir, y le puso como texto de que el hámster era el que estaba hablando, pero en inglés. Y le platiqué porque no lo entendí bien, porque tenía nuevo vocabulario, y se lo platiqué a mi hermano, y sin él ver el video, entendió por completo el contexto del audio.
Correcto.
Entendió que el que estaba hablando era el hámster y no el texto diciendo algo, sino como que
Correcto.
el usuario fue el que puso el texto para el hámster. Entonces, es algo que lo vas adquiriendo con el tiempo y lo comprobé con mi hermano, que él
Claro,
ya sabiendo traducir un poco, entiende mucho el contexto a pesar de no ver el video.
porque tiene vocabulario aprendido.
Sí,
Es
sí,
decir,
sí,
a veces podemos entender el contexto por las imágenes, pero sin vocabulario no podríamos llegar a eso. Tu hermano entendió qué pasaba en la historia, en el video, sin haberlo visto, porque tiene vocabulario en mente y porque el contexto también le ayudó.
sí,
¿Me explico? Ya ni siquiera era, igual y algo de gramática, igual y porque el hámster habló en pasado o hablando en ing, igual le dijo, pues esto pasó antes y esto pasó después y esto pasó después, y entiendes una secuencia de eventos porque conjugan los verbos en presente, en pasado, en diferentes tiempos. La gramática también tiene que ver en la comprensión. Entonces es un conjunto de las tres cosas. En este caso lo leyó, ¿no? Entonces
sí,
no había fonética, pero había vocabulario, contexto y gramática. Entonces,
sí,
así es como se construye la comprensión, precisamente. Son varias cosas a la vez. Y por eso es tan difícil. Porque cuando lees, solamente es saber qué dice.
sí,
Pero cuando escuchas, ahí hay mucho más que ver. Mucho más lo que está pasando. Ahora, mencionabas algo muy importante. La parte de aprender cosas que ya vimos hace mucho tiempo. Es necesario que repasen el vocabulario y que lo tengan muy, 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 muy aprendido, porque si lo que quieres es avanzar, te haces la tarea más fácil si tú ya te sabes las palabras que vimos anteriormente, right? Porque si como vas avanzando se te van olvidando las palabras anteriores, ya me dejas a mí sin herramientas para enseñarte, porque yo me estoy agarrando de las palabras que te enseñé antes, right? Entonces, digamos que entras a clase sin vocabulario anterior, aprendiendo nuevas palabras y con un profe que te está hablando en chino, prácticamente, porque ya no tenemos nada de qué agarrarnos. Entonces, es un es una clase en donde solamente hay ruido. ¿Me explico? Entonces, tienes que usar todas las palabras que viste antes, porque eso es lo que te va a atorar si no te las sabes. Right? Eso va para todos. Lo que tenemos que hacer es agarrar el vocabulario de clases anteriores. En clases anteriores vimos. El vocabulario que vemos ahorita es este. Luego en el ejercicio anterior vimos este. Si quieren denle screenshot. Si no lo tienen.
sí. De hecho, es raro porque, bueno, en mi caso, como que sí, sí notas una diferencia en el anterior, el A1 y el A2, porque el
Claro.
A1 eran palabras cada una y cada una la explicaba con una diapositiva diferente. Y
Uh-huh.
esta es con una sola diapositiva todas las
Ya
palabras.
son 13. Sí.
Entonces ya no se había divertido, pero sí,
Sí, sí,
el
sí.
cambio es inmenso.
Claro. Pasa. ¿Ya le dieron screenshot aquí?
¿Me pueden pasar el screenshot, please?
Va. Ya no. Se los pasa. El vocabulario de clases anteriores.
Gracias.
Este lo pasaron, ¿verdad? Ándale. Después vimos en la clase anterior a esa, vimos el del cine. Estos. Envíen este al grupo. ¿Ready? Es que no lo mandan. Ellos se los mandan. A ver qué siguen. Después vimos. Bueno, antes de eso. Vimos este. Cuando estábamos hablando. ¿Qué fue este? Ah, de la edad y de la personalidad de nuestro amigo jefe. Antes de eso vimos este para dar direcciones. Antes de eso vimos vocabulario para dar el clima. Antes de eso vimos vocabulario del medios de transporte. Y esas fueron las primeras, lo demás. Aquí tuvieron un par de ellas, pero ya están más fáciles. Y listo. Es todo el vocabulario que vemos ahorita. ¿Ok? Entonces, volviendo a lo que estábamos diciendo es precisamente el nivel de comprensión que tenemos ahorita es de un nivel muy fundamental, right? Entonces, no traten de correr antes de caminar. Vamos a entender primero fonemas y vamos a escuchar, identificar qué es lo que está diciendo la persona para que así podamos enriquecer el vocabulario que tenemos en la lista. El vocabulario no te lo vas a aprender si no lo escuchas en algún lado y tienes que aprender está comprobado que para poder aprender una palabra nueva necesitas escucharla 10 veces en otro lugar, ¿sí? Les decía a los alumnos desde un inicio que aquí en la clase yo te doy el vocabulario, después te voy a hacer un ejemplo y después lo escuchamos 30 veces en el, en el audio. Las últimas te tocan a ti, explorando, viendo películas en inglés y buscando este vocabulario en otros lados. Right? Pero al menos aquí en la clase vas a cubrir cada palabra al menos 5 o 6 veces. ¿Vale? Lo que quería también decir es que en el examen van a sentir que es mucho más rápido de lo que están haciendo acá. Quiero que en el examen se enfoquen más en la idea global y en el contexto y no en los fonemas. Durante clase yo me enfoco en fonemas para que sean capaces de entender sin subtítulos en algún punto. Pero en el examen quiero que se enfoquen en la idea completa. Que no se enfoquen en una sola pregunta, sino que escuchen todo completo y que entiendan qué es lo que está pasando. Y algunos detallitos van a ayudarles a pasar el examen o no. ¿Right? Pero ya no se enfocaron en una sola oración, sino escucharon todo el audio completo. Por lo tanto, durante la clase traten de practicar los fonemas y durante el examen traten de escuchar el contexto. Así es como se va a pasar el examen. Ahorita que estaba leyendo sus resultados, vi que lo que pasó en el examen es que nos enfocábamos tanto en una oración que no escuchábamos el resto. Son diferentes estrategias. ¿Ok? Y esta va a ser la misión. ¿Tienen alguna duda?
No, teacher.
¿Suena complicado?
Pues un poquito.
¿Sí?
Pues más bien hay que estudiar mucho vocabulario.
Sí, solo hay que, solo hay que empaparse del idioma ahorita. Es lo que tenemos que hacer ahorita. No podemos aprender un idioma si no nos exponemos al idioma. Si estamos todo el tiempo pensando en español y viendo películas en español y leyendo cosas en español, pues te haces más difícil la tarea porque solamente te expones 1 hora al día.
Ujú.
¿Me explico? Entonces, háganse lo más fácil y pongan todo en inglés ahorita. Que sea parte de su día a día. Alright?
Ok.
Very good, my people.
Ok,
Pues ahí terminamos. Si no tienen alguna duda, terminamos por ahorita. Excellent class. Nos vemos el día de mañana con un nuevo tema.
Ok, teacher.
Alright?
Gracias, teacher.
Have a good
thank
night.
you.
See you
Bye.
tomorrow.
Bye.
You,
Bye
teacher.
bye.
Good night,
Ya no
everybody.
falten, ya no falten. Los espero mañana, ¿eh?
No.
Ah, bueno.
Ya,
Ay,
ya paré de
ay,
llorar
no.
por esta noche.
Ya paré de llorar. Le limpiamos las lágrimas y lo que sigue.
Me too.
Sí.
Come on, man.
Yo te entiendo, Héctor. Yo lloré desde la primera clase, Héctor.
Ya me
Lloremos juntos.
tocaba, ¿no?
Ya te tocaba, Héctor.
Prometo no pegar tan duro. ¿Ok?
No, pues muchas gracias.
Sí, claro, me gusta. Ah, mi gato. Vale, va. Nos vemos, mañanita. See you tomorrow. Have a good
Sí.
night.
See you.
See you
See
later.
you.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye, guys. See you later.